And I think the pandemic showed us how important connection is, and whether it's via Zoom calls or FaceTiming or Skype, whatever, however your form is, people crave to connect, and you can connect in different ways. A video is a potentially impactful way to connect when you can't be there in person. And so I like that concept of until you can be there, ... qcard. I don't know, that's not a motto that I'm exploring right now, but I would rather people be able to be together in person. I don't think anything substitutes for that, but to the extent that you can't, I think that qcards will hopefully help bridge that gap until you can. So whether it's connecting with your customers, connecting with people that are staying in your house, connecting with your babysitter while you're out on your first night out as a new parent, or giving a gift to somebody, until you can be there together, qcard is hopefully the next best thing.
That is interesting. Well, I don't know, like Nick, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that too, because I think actually that could be somewhat, there's something to discuss there, right? Like, is it, always that in person is better, or like, is this a great substitute? I'm thinking about, times where I've arrived at an Airbnb, but maybe don't want, the kind of the extensive walkthrough tour. And I'm like, okay, we're like trying to get in, kind of get out. Like, I think there's a cool like opportunity here with your product where it does allow you to kind of go at your leisure, right? Or like use it as needed, which of course, like, we don't want to cut out all human connection moving forward. But I do think there's something to be said for like when digital can be better and more optimal, and like how we can really like take advantage of that. And I don't know, Nick, what your thoughts are in that too, but it's kind of interesting to think about.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we were sort of chatting about this, like, oh, what do we talk about? We were coming up with all the high level things like, having in-person interactions in a digital world, or like bridging the world of digital and physical through, small bite-sized video content, whatever. And we're like, okay, there's a lot of those good sort of, I put, Adam Newman messaging, whatever, right? Which is like very foggy and visionary and hard to understand. And sometimes it just doesn't work out too. In the case of Adam Newman, we work documentary,
or at all,
right? So, there's two things. I mean, my thought is, and I guess this is kind of questions, but one is like, this is also like kind of a paradigm or protocol change, right? Because you can take a video and you can send it, and it's either like, and this is like a third way to do it, right? Or something, right? So you can post it on social so everyone can see it, or you can send it in a message in one person. So instead of either one to all or one to one, you can contain it to like a one to many with a geographic, like with an actual physical requirement, which is really unique. So now this is like kind of creating a unique like protocol or unique paradigm. So when people need that, and then the question from there is, how does this, like, can this be a platform in some way, shape, or form, right? Like, how can you keep this kind of content and these content creators like captive? And maybe you are or are not, right? But like, think of every short-term rental, there's 600,000 people that have stuff on short-term rentals in this country. But obviously, if you then add like MLS listings, it becomes exponentially more. But maybe talk to how you're thinking about, also just side note, literally a friend of mine's wife emailed me today and was like, oh, I'm putting videos together for like your friend, my husband, like for his 40th birthday. Can you send me some video like via like Dropbox or whatever? I was like, oh, that's so funny. And actually I wasn't like qcard. I was just like, ugh, I need to do that today. Like, and then we're talking, I was like, oh, there's a use case every day. But like you said, every appliance, every thing. I guess maybe first talk about that kind of like paradigm protocol layer, because I think articulating that helps you get into that kind of like, outer space like mindset, and gets people like anchored in this like, whoa, this is like a humongous opportunity. And then you kind of reel them back in and can talk about kind of the use cases and how it's effectively going to be very sticky. And the stickiness might be in the physical infrastructure that you can kind of sign on, right? Like the house that's being for sale, or like we have a co-working space that probably needs how-tos, and now we're on your platform, and why would we ever switch, right? So maybe take that and run with it however you best see fit.
Talk about the stickiness of your stickers. Very relevant.
Yes, love it. Well, I love the concept, Nick, of it being kind of this third way to communicate, because I really think about that. I think not only the one to many versus the one to one and that space in the middle, but also the trigger of timing. So it's physical space and it's timing, whereas you could, text or email a video of how to use your coffee maker to someone staying in your home. In that email would also be a bunch of other videos: how to use your stove, how to use your washing machine, how to lock the door properly. And I've actually had a friend who stayed in an RV that got an email with all those. But then she said when she was ready to go up to the coffee maker, she had to go back. And it was, the host sent it 3 weeks ago. And so she's going through her email, then clicking on the email and trying to find the right video. And it was not solving the problem that she was having, which is walking up to the coffee maker and wanting to know how to use it in that moment. And so there's that timing effect. And there's also that I only want this information, not everything else. So when you walk up and you want to know how to use the coffee maker, you just want to see that video. You don't need the rest of it. And also, a person who doesn't drink coffee never needs to walk up to the coffee maker and absorb that video. So it only applies to certain people in certain situations at a certain time, which I think when we have so much going on, there's an appeal to that, which is when I need it, if and when I need it, it is available to me, and not otherwise. And so that's what is interesting to me in that more sort of instructional category of Airbnb or employee break rooms or a co-working space where, if someone doesn't need to print something, they don't need to sit through a video or read a lengthy email about the printer. It's just if and when they do need to, that it's available and ready. And so that's exciting to me. And then as far as a platform, kind of what I have found through customer discovery is that providing an end-to-end solution, so not only generating the QR codes ourselves, but also hosting the video content, we're eventually going to be able to provide a lot of data. So it may or may not be useful in a co-working space to see what videos are being viewed over and over again. Maybe people just don't understand how to use this printer. But in a marketing scenario, there's even more value to sort of having that data analytics, because you could have different sort of in the physical realm marketing campaigns, and you can do A/B testing. You can figure out what geography of people are really interested in engaging with your video content. There's just a lot more there, exploring the power of data in certain use cases more than others, obviously.